Hello children. In this video we will learn the first lesson of Geography, Resources and Development. We will divide this lesson into a few parts and learn them one by one. By the way, in this lesson we learn what resources are and their classification. We also learn sustainable development, conservation of resources, land degradation, soil resources, soil erosion and soil conservation. By the end of this video, you should be able to define resources, and you should also be able to classify resources on various bases and give examples. Children, look at this. This is coal. When it was first discovered, we didn't know what to do with this thing. Today, it is called as black gold. Similarly, when crude oil was first discovered, we didn't know what to do with this sticky, messy thing. Today, it is such a precious resource that we call it as liquid gold. Both these are very precious resources. What are resources then? Resources are anything that is found naturally that is of some use to us, provided those things that are found naturally are technologically accessible, economically feasible, and culturally acceptable. So what does technological accessibility mean? And what do economical feasibility and cultural acceptability mean? Let's see. Children, think of gold that is found in the land and compare that with gold that is dissolved in the ocean waters. We have technology to extract gold from this ore. This is gold ore. We do have technology. So gold that is found in the land is a resource because it is technologically accessible. But gold that is dissolved in the ocean waters, well, we cannot extract it presently because we do not have technology. So, gold in the land is a resource, but it is not a resource which is dissolved in the ocean waters. So, this criteria should a thing meet in order for it to be considered as a resource. It should be technologically accessible. Children, now think of iron ore which is present in two places, place A and place B. In both these places, iron ore is present. In place A, it is present in 8%. In place B, it is present in huge quantity, 55%. Obviously, development of iron ore in place A is not at all profitable, but development of iron ore in place B is profitable. In other words, development of iron ore in place A is economically not feasible, whereas it is economically feasible in place B. We can conclude that iron ore in place B is a resource because it is economically feasible, but iron ore in place A, though it is technologically accessible, it cannot be considered as a resource because it is economically not feasible. Cultural acceptability means the things that are developed must be accepted by our culture as resources. Now let's proceed and learn a bit about development. Before that, let's understand the meaning of institution. Institution is any organization that works to fulfill given objective. You know that schools are educational institutions. Banks are called financial institutions. Industries like Reliance Industries are industrial institutions. With this backdrop, we'll learn a bit about development of resources. Children, think of coal, which occurs naturally. In order for that to be developed as a resource, we need three forces to continuously act upon it. We, the human beings, we are of two kinds, skilled and unskilled. We are required to develop this resource. In fact, we develop this as a resource for our benefit. In the process, we develop appropriate technology and we also develop appropriate institution. Now let's learn classification of resources one by one. Children, resources are classified on various bases: origin, exhaustibility, ownership, and status of development. Let's learn them one by one. To begin with, classification of resources based on origin. Based on origin, resources can be classified into biotic, and abiotic. Biotic resources are the ones that are obtained from biosphere. You know that biosphere is the part of the earth where life is found. It contains flora and fauna. It also includes we the human beings. And these are some examples of biotic resources. Abiotic resources include non-living things like minerals. This is a very simple classification. Resources with life, biotic. Resources without life, abiotic. The next is based on exhaustibility. On this basis, resources are classified into renewable and non-renewable. Renewable resources are those that renew themselves by physical, chemical, and biological process. Think of water cycle, children. Water evaporates due to heat. As it rises up in the atmosphere, it condenses to form clouds. And water comes back in the various forms of precipitation, mostly rainfall, right? So water renews itself by physical process. And the continuous flow of sunlight is the example of renewability that happens because of chemical reaction that takes place in the sun. All living beings giving birth to young ones is an example of renewability that happens due to biological process. Non-renewable resources are the ones that occur over geological time. It takes millions and millions of years to form such resources. But we the people are using them in such a speed that they get exhausted faster than nature can replenish them. Coal, natural gas, crude oil are examples of it. Even minerals are examples of non-renewable resources. They get exhausted faster than the nature can replenish them. The next classification is based on ownership. On this basis, we classify resources into 4 different categories: individual resources, community resources, national resources, and international resources. Let's learn them one by one. Individual resources are the ones that are owned by individuals against paying revenue or tax to the government. These resources can be taken by the government for national development. Some examples are houses that people own, plots that the people own, agricultural lands, open wells, bore wells, etc. The next is community resource. Community resources are the ones which are accessible to all members of the community. Every member of the community can use it, but no single member of the community can claim ownership of it. Some examples are play areas, burial grounds, picnic spots, etc. Children, now let's learn about the next category, that is national resource. Well, national resources are the ones that are found in the nation. In fact, technically, all the resources belong to the nation. Developmental projects like widening of roads, construction of dams, railway tracks are all done acquiring individual resources. Apart from whatever resources that are found in the land, resources found up to 12 nautical miles into the ocean waters are called territorial waters, and they belong to the nation. By the way, 1 nautical mile is equal to 1.825 kilometers. Now let's learn about India's exclusive economic zone. Children, look at this map. This line is the boundary of India's exclusive economic zone. What is it? We'll learn a little later. By the way, children, look at this. This is ocean water. This is the national resource, that is everything that is found in the nation, in the land boundary of the nation is called national resource. And from the land boundary up to 12 nautical miles is also national resource. From the land boundary up to 200 nautical miles is called as exclusive economic zone. Children, again think of it. This is the end of the land boundary, so everything that lies within this land boundary is natural resource, and everything that lies into the ocean waters up to 12 nautical miles is also natural resource. And from the land boundary up to 200 nautical miles is called as exclusive economic zone. It's also called as buffer zone. Well, in this exclusive economic zone, a given country can carry out economic activities like mining in the ocean bed, installing windmills, or even we can have oil wells there. In fact, India's largest oil well, Mumbai High, is there in the exclusive economic zone. Well, beyond this is called international resource. This open ocean is called international resource. Proceeding further, the next classification based on ownership is international resource itself. Well, resources present in the open oceans beyond 200 nautical miles of exclusive economic zone are called international resources. They are monitored by international agencies, and they can be used by a country only if those international agencies permit. In fact, India has the right to mine manganese nodules beyond its exclusive economic zone in the Arabian Sea. Resources present in the poles are also examples of international resource. The last basis of classification is classification based on status of development. We have 4 sub-classifications there: developed, potential, stock, and reserve. Let's learn them one by one. The first one, developed. Developed resources are those which are surveyed, their quality and quantity have been determined for utilization. In fact, development depends on technological advancement and economic feasibility. Coal, natural gas, and crude oil, even minerals, are examples of developed resources. To make it simple, children, resources which are being used by us after developing technology and institution are called developed resources. The next is potential resource. Children, think of solar energy that is abundantly available in Gujarat and Rajasthan. Well, these potential resources are found in a region, but they have not been fully utilized. Again, as in case of Rajasthan and Gujarat, solar energy and wind energy are abundantly available. We do have technology to develop solar energy. We have photovoltaic technology, but institutional development is not satisfactory. There is the potential of developing solar energy and wind energy in these 2 states, as in most states of India, but institutional development is not satisfactory. The next one is stock. Stock is a kind of resource. They are the materials in the environment which have the potential to satisfy human needs, but human beings do not have appropriate technology to access this. Think of 2 molecules that make up water, hydrogen and oxygen. Both of them are highly inflammable. They are the energy of the future. They are the resources of the future. Okay, they are the resources of the future. Presently, we do not have appropriate technology. Similarly, thunder and lightning. Whenever it thunders, whenever there is a lightning, a lot of energy is released. Presently, we do not have technology to trap that energy in a battery and use over time, right? So, such resources which can satisfy our needs but lack technological development are called stock. They are the resources of the future. Finally, reserves. Reserve resources are those which are preserved for the future use. Well, the water that is stored in this dam is not for immediate use. It is for the use over time, right? It is reserved for future use. In fact, dam is also called as reservoir. Similarly, consider reserved forests. We do have technology to clear forests, both legal and illegal, don't we? But part of the forest is reserved for future use. In fact, they are called reserved forest. Reserve resources are those which are preserved for the future use. Children, so far we have learned classification of resources based on origin into biotic and abiotic, based on exhaustibility into renewable and non-renewable, based on ownership into individual, community, national and international, and based on status of development into developed, potential, stock, and reserve. So that's the end of the first part of resources and development.